reacting to the situation.
Yeah. All right, so let's get started. Can you tell us a bit about your childhood up to your college days? Basically,
Yeah.
how you got inclined towards science and how this whole meme thing started off.
Okay. Well, actually, I was growing up, I lived in a place called Las Vegas, Nevada, if you're familiar
Okay.
with
Yeah.
that, one of the biggest tourist places in the world, really.
Mm.
And my whole life, I wanted, well, growing up, I wanted to be an actor. I did a little bit of acting, mostly in theater, but across the United States. And that was where I really figured I would go. While I was going through school, I was doing acting on the side, but basically, how Bad Science Jokes started is I was a junior in high school, so I don't know if you have the same grade levels there, but that was about 11th grade. And for a science class, they had us write little jokes on the back of the homework for like a couple extra points. It was just a fun thing to get everybody talking. And me and my group in this class, we kind of put all of ours together, and I put it on Tumblr, which was cool at the time. And so I started posting there, and I'd keep the jokes. And when the class was over for the year, I asked my friends, I was like, does anybody want this? I've kind of been the only one messing with it. And they're like, no, go ahead. And so I kept it going on and off between things I was doing in my, regular day-to-day life. And I checked on it about a year and a half later. I hadn't been posting too much, and it was just growing exponentially. And I was like, wait a second, I didn't know, like, how did this even happen? Basically, a joke I posted, it just said there's a fine line between a numerator and a denominator. And somebody posted a picture of the actor Nicolas Cage just going like this, and people started screenshotting it and sharing it all over. And I mean, I saw t-shirts made with it, just tons of, everywhere I went, I saw this joke I posted, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a much bigger thing that I even understand. And it was a little bit before meme pages were as big as they are today. So that was another good thing, is I kind of beat the majority of people into doing this. And so basically I right after high school, I actually got very sick. I was actually bedridden for about 2 years. I couldn't walk, anything like that. And so basically what I did with the majority of my time was work on bad science jokes. And it was a way to make a couple extra bucks. While I was unemployed, I couldn't leave my house, for real. Just a trip to the grocery store, I would basically walk a couple steps and I would pass out. That was what I dealt with on a regular basis.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very frightening, and honestly nobody knew if I was gonna make it. So bad science jokes helped me get through that. And I met a lot of people, and I realized this was something that I wanted to continue with. With the illness, I lost a lot of my short-term memory, and I couldn't memorize the way I used to as an actor. So I went back into college, because I actually had taken a bit of time off between, well, being sick, obviously. And I started college, and I was just taking general education classes until I graduated. Nothing really exciting there. But bad science jokes kept going and kept getting bigger and bigger. And I started jumping in on like digital marketing classes in college. And I realized, I was like, wait a second, these professors are teaching things that are kind of outdated by this point. I'm like, this is changing every day. I'm like, I'm getting more experience on bad science jokes and doing things like that. And that's why I kind of got into digital marketing, and realized that that's probably a place I wanted to be more so than in acting or, anything else, due to the past and everything.
So we have a meme for you, just to see
Okay.
your reaction for it. So
Okay.
Preeta, can you present the meme, please?
Yeah.
Preeta, we can't see your screen. I mean, I think you have window shared it. So you can pause and then share again. So, like, ma'am, till then, I mean, till they figure it out, can you tell us about a bit more about the problems that you faced? Like you said right now, that there was some problem you couldn't move as such, and then that was during school time, right? Like after school or during school time.
Actually, I had just graduated from
Oh,
high
after
school.
after that.
So it was actually just a few months after I graduated. I left the school. I moved back home to Las Vegas. I was living in Texas for a bit of time there, and basically what they call it is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which just basically means when you're standing upright, the your blood is not flowing appropriately through the body, and it basically just adheres to gravity and stays in your legs rather than moving up to the brain. So when I would stand up, a lot of people have this though, just with low iron and stuff, but it was just a little bit more intense. I would just stand up, and about 3 seconds later, I would just completely black out and I'd fall on the ground. And so we actually, it's really, really sad, but we had comforters all around my house just so that I wouldn't hit the tile, and
Yeah.
it was a very rough time. It was very, very, very hard on
Mm.
my family and I. It was I'm so grateful that now I'm in a place where I'm getting healthy. I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff anymore. Every now and then I'll get a little dizzy, but I don't fall like I used to. And my memory's coming back for the most part, but nothing like I was able to memorize, scripts and scripts all at the same time. So that was just something that, dreams have to change as life goes on sometimes.
That was good in a way, as we can see. Then, if that wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have bad science jokes at such a big and famous page, right? So I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, your coping
everything
mechanism
happens for
is
a good.
something really great for us.
I'm honestly glad at the turn of events that have happened. At times it took a while. When you're a kid and that's your dream and you've worked, all of your life. Really, I started working at age 10 in acting, and so it was a real devastating sort of thing when I realized, wait a second, I can't do this anymore. But I've got to experience so many things this way, changing my path and going down the science route as well as digital marketing and stuff. It's just now people have more questions to ask me, I guess. It's always something. I'm like, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. So
So what did you major in, and did that in any way affect what you do today?
I originally majored in political science. It was
Yeah.
2016, so it was an election year. But I ended up changing just to a regular education degree. I took a few science classes in the meantime, but again, my memory and honestly, I took 4 years off in between high school and college, and that really throws somebody off. They always warn you, like, don't take too long of a break between high school and college, but it definitely threw a wrench in things. But yeah, I just graduated with a regular education degree, and I got to be able to take what I wanted and what I thought would interest me.
Can we have the meme now, though, Preeta?
Yes, yes.
Mm.
See it now.
Yes.
And you get
Yeah.
all the questions wrong in the exam, but you finished it before anyone did. Speed. Okay, I gotta say something. I love these memes that have like the wrong spelling. I gotta say something real quick. Me and my boyfriend actually we completely speak to each other in terms like this. So I this is fantastic. This is a great one.
We love it too. I mean, the stonk memes and the man here, the stonk man. Those
Yeah.
memes are just too
Yeah, we
funny.
had a lot of fun shortlisting these.
This is wonderful. I like this one a lot personally. And this was also me in high school. Definitely. I was like, oh yeah, as long as I'm the first one, I don't care. You slam your pencil down and you walk to the front of the room like, ha, I beat all of you. Everyone's done that, I'm sure. That was so me.
So all credits to Mohit who made this meme, and it was quite funny, and ma'am also liked it. So I mean, good job.
Yes, good one.
Okay.
All right, so moving on. You're the admin of a meme page, you run a digital marketing firm, you're an author, and you have a toddler. How do you balance all of this?
I don't know, actually. I yeah, my baby is she just hit 8 months, so
Okay.
she's out of that like waking up every 2 minutes in the middle of the night thing. Actually though, I think she knew I was going to be up, so she was already awake this morning while I'm getting ready, and I'm like, go back to sleep. But I honestly, luckily with like social media and social media marketing, I can basically do it all from my phone. So, and that's something else, especially with COVID right now going on. And I'm pretty sure it's the same there, but a lot of people are working from home rather than, being in an office. And I guess my timing was just really perfect for that because I've been reaching out to businesses and I'm like, hey, I can offer you a cheaper rate for social media marketing. And I can work at home. I can have her in one arm and be working with my other hand.
Nice.
And with bad science jokes, I honestly I have to say lately it has been taken a back seat, and it's just because I don't have the bandwidth some days. So if you've noticed, my captions have been like one word for the past like
Yeah.
month. It just is like, yes, true, because I'm just like I'm like I have to post something. But I think everybody kind of understands who actually like knows who I am. I don't post about me a lot on bad science jokes, and that's just because most people don't care. I see some meme pages and they're just trying to be like, oh hey, and I'm like, you guys are following for the science and educational humor. You really care about me most of the time. So I mean, every now and then people be like, how you doing? But I understand the majority of people are like looking for my life. So, so, it's just, I have to kind of pick my battles some days. And so that's kind of why Bad Science Jokes has been taking a little bit of a back seat. But hopefully, I can keep it, posting a little bit more often. It's in my plan. Honestly, some days I just can't make memes or I can't find any to share. And I'm just like, all right, we're skipping today. I always try to post at least once a day, but and sometimes that's actually better going to like a more social media marketing side. Some days it's actually better to only post once a day if you're posting like 5 times a day. The algorithm really likes that. So if any of you are looking to become an influencer or just want to make a name for yourself in social media, if you're doing multiple posts a day, go down to one, go down to two, and just switch it up for a little while, and it will help your overall engagement rate.
Speaking of a little bit more of the technical
And
side of
also we
things,
have some meme makers in the house, so I mean,
yeah,
they
take
give
notes.
great advice for them. So, Preeta, if you want to share, you can share, or we proceed with the interview.
Uh,
I swear.
yeah,
By the way, just to tell you, it is quite worse in India than it is anywhere else, because
Really?
right.
because of the population. Like, India is a
Yeah.
big country, but at the same time we have a huge population also. So I mean, the kind of cities, especially one that I live in Mumbai, it is quite densely packed, and then therefore has led to a lot of problems in the past. Even now the cases have suddenly started increasing and all that. But now after a year, I mean, they can't implement lockdown and restrictions again and again, because that will put the economy in the back.
Do
So
you guys have the vaccine readily available yet, or is it?
yes, it has
Yeah.
rolled out for all ages above 45. So that
Okay.
vaccine rollout is going quite fast here, because we
Okay.
have two Indian-made vaccines available here that we have. So
Wow. Yeah, it's different really everywhere you go. It's actually strange how different, just with the population and things. I've been trying to avoid looking at my screen because I didn't want to like give it away or anything. But here, let's see. Renewable source for electricity, direction conditions like typhoon, wind energy. Yes, that is so funny. And that's what's actually, it's interesting that a lot of people don't talk about that like how especially with like the renewable energy side, that how like dangerous like turbines can be. But This is cute. This is really cute. I like this. Actually, is it okay if I like share all of these memes later today? Like I want to make a big like folder. Would that be okay with
Yes, ma'am,
everybody?
it will be
Definitely.
perfectly fine, and we'll
Definitely.
send it to you
Okay.
ASAP.
Okay, great. Because if and anybody, if your meme is chosen, make sure you like comment what your Instagram handle is so I can share it and tag you in it.
Yes, sir. We'll send you all the memes and also the Instagram handle.
And the
Okay.
handles.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this one is
Oh gosh, is there anything on the very bottom? I see a little like is
internal.
that
No, I
In-
think that
oh okay. Okay, I was just checking. It's a hexagon. I you know what? I'm all for listening to and hearing out conspiracy theories. And I have to admit, I am a religious person, which a lot of people are like, you can't be into science and also be a religious person. That's a whole different thing. I'm not going to get into that big old can of worms, but I really tried to understand the flat earth theory. And I really was like, okay, I want to be a part of some weird conspiracy. And I could not understand how somebody came up with the flat earth theory. I'm like, we have so much proof that the earth is not flat, but
and the funnier part in that was they accept that Mars and Venus and all the other planets are like
yeah,
spherical.
Yeah.
that's what's really funny about the whole thing. It's like I understand if we were way back, like, you know, a few hundred years, like that makes sense. It really does. Like when you go to the beach or something, it does look like it would be flat. That makes perfect sense. I understand it. I completely get it. But today it's like no, we got to move past this one. This is so that's very cute. I also really love this the Spider-Man meme. I just love her face at the end. Just it's just so perfect. It's just there's so many uses for it.
Okay, so let's proceed with the interview.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So speaking of memes and marketing, in your opinion, how can one integrate memes into digital marketing?
There this is always a hard conversation to have with people who are a little bit over the age of about like 35 to 40. But people like, you know, younger generations definitely like get it. But the thing about adding memes to digital marketing is the ability for engagement. So when you're posting something, you can make a meme that is hold on, let me backtrack here for a second. So when you're posting something, you always want to add in the caption something that grabs somebody's attention, so like a question or what do you feel about this, so on and so forth. When a meme has the ability to give a bigger topic, you can squeeze it into one sentence basically. And so not only will it encapsulate multiple age groups, generations, and things, it's easier to share, it's easier to get the point across, and people are more willing to like and share it and comment on it. When you get those comments and those likes and those saves and things like that, it's going to increase your engagement all around. And that's on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. So putting that out there and then putting your business's logo on the side is so beneficial, especially when people take the meme and they reshare it and your little logo is still there on the side. It is so great for businesses, and it's kind of sad how many businesses don't partake in that, or they partake in it in a way they don't understand the meme and they're trying too hard. And we see that a lot with those big name businesses, and they're trying to get in on like, oh, I want to be cool too. But I always try to like, I will actually ask potential clients, I'm like, how do you feel about memes? And do I need to explain this for you? Because I mean, not talking down in any way, but it's just some people don't get it. And I like the idea of being able to, you know, talk to that audience in a different way. I also think it's a very big deal that basically, so you guys are familiar with like Wendy's, right? Like the restaurant. Okay, sorry, I didn't know if there was one out there, but like
We don't have it here though.
We don't
but
have
yeah.
one with your brand.
oh, okay, but you know of the Twitter, like the Twitter for Wendy's, and it goes on and roasts people, like it makes fun of people. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So you can put in your mind, you see, okay, the Wendy's girl is mean, she's snarky, she has a bit of an attitude. And there is like a voice to the company, there's a voice to that brand. And when you're using things like memes and you're using, you know what, not so business speaking, you're giving a different voice to your company, and it's more on a person to person level. I have met people who have followed Bad Science Jokes, and they are like, they think it's like, they're like, oh, that's you. They have in their mind a version of me that is Bad Science Jokes. And I don't type like myself usually when I'm doing Bad Science Jokes. Each one of my pages has their own voice. And that's going to change how the captions are, how the memes are, things like that. You want your business, even your meme page, your brand, even if it's yourself being an influencer, you're going to want to have that voice set from the beginning so that people immediately recognize your brand as a person rather than an entity, if that makes sense.
So it was like when in poems in the old times, in poems or in short stories, there was personification of nature. Now we are doing
Yes,
personification of brands. Oh,
that's actually a very great point. Yes, I might steal that phrasing. Yes, it's
thank you.
personification definitely of an entity rather than like of nature or of, you know, an animal, which is more common. Yeah.
Nice. That is nice. I came up with it now.
Yes. Trademark.
So in your experience, have you ever had a conversation in which you came up with some content and the person on the other end found it offensive or childish? And how have you dealt with it?
Well, I'm actually going to go back a few years, back to when I was talking about I spent basically 2 years in bed and I was just posting on Bad Science Jokes. Tumblr, if you're familiar with the blogging platform that Tumblr is, it is known to be a little bit more on edge for things like that, taking offense to more general kind of content. It was about 2016, I'm thinking, and I posted a chromosome joke about XXXY. I don't remember exactly what it was, what the joke was. It had something to do with like women asking why or something. I thought it was very tasteful. But basically, once it was posted within a few hours, I was sent multiple death threats. And it was in a time in my life I wasn't ready for that. And I basically shut down everything. I turned all of Bad Science Jokes off. And so I mean, this has been a while. This was a while ago. So not many people who are here probably remember that, but I just flat out said, I'm gone. I'm never coming back, you know? And I stopped for a few months because of seriously, there were a lot of death threats, and you'd actually be surprised how often that happens. But now I have come to terms with, okay, people are going to be offended by things. Personally, I try very hard to not offend anybody. That's just not who I am. I'm a pretty easygoing person in a face-to-face situation. And I would hate to actually hurt somebody. But then some days I realize some people are just looking for the fight. Some people, it's online. People are like, you know what? I'm going to start an argument today. And I've done it. I think everybody's done it.
Yeah.
You just you're ticked off and you're like, I'm going to fight with somebody. I need to get this out. So I kind of let it go. If something maybe I understood wrong, or I posted, there's a meme called Loss. Are you familiar with the Lost meme?
Yeah.
Okay, I posted a meme it had two different versions of the joke. There was loss in there, but it actually had a numerical joke in there as well. And it was I posted this and I didn't know it was National Miscarriage Awareness Month. And so I got a lot of flack for that. And I felt so bad, especially I had just had my baby. So, I mean, I understand, like, I would never have done that if I knew. And I didn't know. so I felt terrible. Everyone who wrote to me about it, I personally said, hey, I'm sorry. I understand if you unfollow me. I get it. I probably would have too. And I just told them I had no idea. But there's a lot of, even the best, most aware people probably can't keep up with every holiday, every awareness sort of thing. And when I used to work at one company, I actually had a calendar that only had those, like all the holidays. Basically, it's like, oh, National Noodle Day, National Pizza Day, all that. And I probably need to get another one of those. But yeah, some people are looking for a fight, and sometimes it is definitely intended and serious. And so when it's just, I will take the post down and I will write to people who are upset by it. But otherwise, sometimes I'll just let it go if it's something that I don't need to put my mental bandwidth into. Like you said, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in my world, and some days I don't need it. So if I just take the post down, or just kind of depends on the situation, obviously.
Okay. So we have one more meme coming up for you, and I'll be
Okay.
sharing it. So I mean, just give me a second.
Okay.
So okay. So just a second. Let me open. This one. This one. Yes. Let me share the screen. So this is what we have.
This is very great. I actually don't think I've seen this image before, but I love how it's being used, and that's so creative. I love when people take a step outside the normal, like those meme images, or maybe I'm just behind the times, but I haven't seen that image before. But that is,
exactly. We haven't seen it used this way. I mean, this is very creative, I think.
yes, I
And
really
very
like it.
relatable.
Yes.
Because especially when in high school we had to do this salt analysis experiments for our final exams, and so there was a standard that we would have one copper sulfate and the rest would be all white.
All white salts.
Yeah.
Out of the 10 people, I am the only lucky one who gets copper sulfate and has to write just it is copper sulfate and that's it.
Yeah, I believe I've had that same at least a version of that same experiment, and it's been a while, but I remember that, and like, yes, finally. So
Something good is
yeah, very
happening.
relatable.
Okay,
You
so
spoke about being behind the times. Have you ever felt that? Like you post on the internet. So have you ever felt that I may not be knowing about this? Maybe I shouldn't do
I
this.
No, I definitely, with when TikTok started coming out, I'm like, do I need to do this? Do I need to actually bad science jokes accidentally went viral on TikTok. This girl, I cannot remember her name, but she doesn't actually follow me. She just kind of was scrolling through and started reading my jokes on her TikTok, and it somehow just went viral. And I mean, I had like 15,000 followers in a few hours from this video. And so I started looking into TikTok, and I was like, you know what? This really isn't the platform for what I do. So I kind of just let it be, but definitely I felt that. Luckily though, with like bad science jokes and the popularity of it, when there's going to be like an update for the algorithm and things like that, it kind of lets me know. It just kind of says there's going to be updates, things like that. And so I read into it and I see what's going to happen. I follow a lot of marketing people on all across the web, LinkedIn, things like that. And so I try to stay ahead of at least the general stuff, but I do stick mainly to like Facebook and Instagram. And then for my businesses, I will read, I mean, I'll study it up, and just make sure I'm caught up with everything. But luckily, at least for me, TikTok's audience is much younger than Facebook and Instagram. So a lot of my businesses won't even need it. So I'm like, okay, let's wait on that. I don't want to mess with that yet. But usually, Facebook and Instagram, even though people are trying to get away from it, or even Twitter, people still go back. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
those are going to be the main places that people are advertising. And so for me, it's safe there at least.
Well, at least in India, you're not missing out because TikTok is banned here. So great.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. They
1
talked
million
about
people out of your list. So I mean,
yeah, no, TikTok was banned here for a little while. I think it's readily available, but there was some issues with like
the
um
political things and all.
yeah, there was political stuff behind it, just lots of garbage to not get into. But so yeah, that was a good excuse for me to not, pitch it to my businesses. I'm like, well, for the political standings right now, we're not touching this. Um but yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's definitely hard to keep up, especially when they're making new platforms. And then I'm actually working with a new social media platform as well. And so it's hard to, to juggle that. It's like, okay, well, how do I advertise this onto my other pages and, just bring it full circle. And so I have to join all those new accounts. I have a Gab, I have a Parlor, I had all of that, just besides the political reasons for people creating and going on these sites. I had to know what was going on. And so stuff like that. So I honestly, I always feel behind the times.
That is with
So
everyone, I think. I mean,
yeah, it's basically with what I do though, I have a way to, stay ahead of it all. But every day I feel like, am I getting too old for this? I don't know. I have skinny jeans and a side part, like they say, is,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm officially old. So, I don't even know how to answer that question. Like, yes, I'm behind the times all the time.
I mean that is, I think, very common among us also. I mean,
Yeah, the
because
whole Gen
that
Z
is,
versus millennial thing.
and also that so many new things are coming up every day in any aspect, in any field, like in the memes, on the social media, or even in our science itself, in the
Mhm,
technology field. There's a lot of innovation going every day. So I mean, obviously we are bound to feel left out or something
Yeah,
like that,
it's
but
hard to
then
keep
it's up
up.
to
Yeah.
us
mhm,
whether we want to know something. Then we can read about it, or we can come to know more about it, but otherwise
mhm.
it's like a lot to do. So
It really is. And then with how much congestion there is on Instagram and Facebook,
yeah.
and even though even though I'm literally just congesting people's news feeds, I had to turn off a lot of meme pages just because I couldn't keep up with it on my personal pages. It's just like there's just too much going on. What do I actually want to see? And with the changes in the algorithm, you don't get to see what's new anymore. I mean, my Facebook has completely suffered because of these algorithm changes. They want me to pay to boost a meme. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. The entire, the reasoning behind that is to get it to, share organically. And it's just not happening the way it used to. So, you just kind of, you got to hope for the best sometimes when going online.
By the way, if the audience, anyone has questions, they can type it in the chat box. We will be having some audience questions too later in the interview. So right now we'll continue with the interview. So I have this question I like a lot. So do you have any favorite meme pages, like top three or something like that, that you absolutely love?
Hold on. I gotta pull up my phone for this one. I have, okay, so I have to admit, my personal taste in memes is a little bit different than what like bad science jokes is.
Oh,
And what's funny is I've tried to put the two together, like my real humor. The people on bad science jokes don't usually go for it. I like those like surreal memes and those like the stonks memes and stuff like that. And for the most part, people are like, I don't get this, or this is not funny. I actually had to turn off the phrase "this isn't science" because it just drove me nuts. I'm like, I get it. Sometimes I want to post something else, but so if you try to post, this isn't science, it will just delete it. I won't ever see it. So I have, hold on, let me see here. So lately I've been really into the page I really like watermelons. They only have a few thousand people, but all their memes are about watermelons, and I just think it's hilarious. Um, there is Zuck the Berg, ZucccTheberg. They have some really great memes, and that's one I really enjoy following. Um, where is hold on, I'm just kind of scrolling right now because I can't think of them off the top of my head. um Oh
Because there
goodness.
are so many. I mean, they are like endless.
They really are. And then I get I'll get like because I follow the hashtag bad science jokes, so
Oh,
I get like memes in my feed from that, and I don't even know who is actually posting it. I have to like go manually to check. Um and so that'll throw me off sometimes. I'm like, wait, I haven't been following them. Um Actually I think that happened with Science Fun with two N's. I'd been talking to them for a long time and I'm like, I wasn't even following you. I'm sorry. I felt kind of bad. Actually, no, this is the one I'm not following. Whoops. Um, it just still comes up in my feed. I think I'm following them. And it is hard, especially like with this much. Like I try to keep my following really low. It only has like 81 on a year. And it's just because there's just too much stuff I can't keep up with. I know I'm missing some people, but mostly on Bad Science Jokes, at least I follow more of like the creators, like Emily Calandrelli, who she does Netflix's Emily's Science Lab or Emily's Fun Lab, or I'm sorry, Emily. I met her one time and that was before she had her show. Nick Uhouse is another one
oh yes.
who has a Netflix show. Um, I also knew him before all that. I was one of the first people to shout him out. Like he only had like 10,000 followers, and I was like, "Hey, you guys got to check this guy out."
He's
But
very fun.
mostly that kind of stuff, huh?
That is very fun. I mean, the way he does experiments and the way he speaks. I
Yeah.
mean, that is quite fun, I think.
He was
He
also on America's
collaborated
Got.
with Smosh also, and I have seen a lot of those videos, so I know him. So I mean, that was good.
Yeah, it is. I love his stuff. I try to share it anytime I can, or at least give it attention to like his show. Oh gosh, Blown Away, on Netflix. He's helped me a lot when I was actually going through a little bit of my illness. I had posted, I was like out of work, things like that. He gave me a couple of little jobs to do and stuff, and so I always am very respectful of him and what he does. Um, but yeah, that's actually mainly what I do is so I can keep up with, or like scientists themselves. Astronaut Terry, goodness, I can't think of his last name, but he's been following me for a while, and I just found out about that. And but yeah, so it's actually kind of weird when I find out that somebody like big and famous is following me, because I can't really tell. The service I used to use to keep track of that kind of stuff, Instagram like basically took the
And
website down. And yeah, and I'm like, well, how am I supposed to see who's following me? And so I don't know unless they comment or they like something. I do, real quick, I do check comments very regularly, so if you do
yes,
comment,
I've seen that.
I
I've seen.
really, yeah, I try to like and I try to comment, every now and then. I can't go through everybody, but I do read them. I do see every comment that comes by. So but yeah, so I'm sorry, what was the what was the question? I think
The question has been done already, and we are
I
now
okay.
in a conversation, so that is
I
fine. And we are
I
enjoying
We
it.
were really
ramble.
happy with the answer. We got a few good meme pages. I already followed a few. So I'm
Okay,
very
great.
happy with
Now
the
I
answer.
mean,
go
we
through
need to
go through
write
who
them
I
down, and then we can send it to everyone. I think.
Yeah.
I should have I prepared a little bit for the interview. I'm like, okay, what are they gonna ask me? And I'm trying to go through, and I totally missed that question. Just go through who I'm following. There's a bunch of good ones in there. Surreal. I think it is Surreal Memes. That's like been my favorite one lately, but they're more dank, if as the kids are calling
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so people never get those memes. Hold on, real quick. I think that's what their name is. That's actually, I think, probably my favorite right now is that Surreal Meme page. If I could find it. Hold on. Hold on.
Actually,
Hold
I
on.
also had a follow up to this, but I mean, okay, I'll ask
Oh,
you.
okay. Okay, you can go. I'm sorry. I'm just checking to see what the
So
name of
what I
that
was
page is.
going to ask was that do you follow any Indian content creators, or do you know about them?
Okay, we'll answer that. It's the Surreal Bank is the one that I'm like
Okay,
really in love with, the Surreal Bank. Okay.
okay, okay, please
Uh
tell.
but I looked into was it Mostly Sane? I saw that she was going to be
Ah,
speaking
yes,
with
we
you
had a talk
guys.
with her
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, I
Yes.
did, wasn't able to make the call, but she had some really interesting stuff. But I was reading through and like watching some of her videos, and I'm like, okay, I don't get that and I don't get that. But I actually don't know how many people I follow who are from India, because I know a lot of the science pages I follow are from there. A few of the engineering pages definitely are from India. I just can't say who specifically off the top of my head, but I do know a very large majority of the pages I do follow are from there. And that's just because the even the majority of, well, not the majority, but a big chunk of my following is from India.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's just there is so much
And that will be the
informational.
case. That will be the case for any pages that you go to, be it bad science joke or any meme page, because the population itself is so huge. I mean, you will find Indians everywhere.
Yes, and it's actually very interesting coming from, a little just a 20 something girl in the United States. It's like, wow, there are people all over the world who are following me, and it's really strange to wrap your head around. But yeah, I know there's so much technology and so much information that's coming from India right now, and that's why I was blown away that you guys wanted to chat with me. I was like, they could pick so many people and they wanted to talk to me. And it's so amazing. Just a sidetrack real quick, I know I ramble, I'm sorry, but it's so great how the internet has been able to connect people the way it does. There are negatives and there are pros to the internet, I completely believe, but that's one of the greatest things is we're able to do this would not have even been thought of even just
Sitting at
50 years
home, yeah,
ago.
exactly.
Yeah, so it's amazing, it really is.
Indians are omnipresent.
Yeah.
We also have a in-house meme page of ICT of our institute. I mean, it is unofficial, obviously, but we have that. So shout out to Meme Wale ICT, and please go check it out, everyone. Probably you won't get it because there are many inside references to the our university, but I'll surely send it to you.
Okay, definitely, because I'll at least give them some likes, and maybe if it's something that seems kind of relatable, I'll share it to everybody. But yeah, I love when people do those like school memes and
Yes.
like their specific school, because each school has such a different like
Culture
just
and all.
personality. I went to like 8 different schools during grade school. I just moved so much, and so yeah, it just each school has such a different vibe and personality, and so it's always fun to see those. And actually, before I decided on a college, I looked at the meme pages just to kind of see what was going on. I mean,
This is
that's
something we all will try. I think we should
Yeah.
try this.
This is how grad school applications are going to work.
that in the confessions pages too. There's a
Yes.
lot of those,
Yes.
and I like seeing. I'm like, do people talk about getting bullied a lot? Do people talk about the party atmosphere? Because a lot of people look into that. Maybe not for grad school, but you know what I mean. Some
Yes.
people look for that kind of thing, and I always checked it out because that's going to be the realest information that you're going to get. So
Most honest feedback that you would get.
yeah.
So, so now we discussed that you are doing so many things at a time, and it is mostly related to computers and using your phone, Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot. So, do you know what is your exact screen time? Like, how much time do you spend on the screen? I mean, not to make you self-conscious or something, but I mean, we
Just
really
curious. Just curious.
want to know.
Okay, let me just, I have turned off all of those programs that say how
Trackers.
long because it bothered me. One day I hit like 14 hours of screen time and I almost cried, and so I was like, no. But the thing is like, I try now to not click on my phone more than 3 times an hour, which still sounds like a lot, but you realize you're not noticing how much you just looked for the time. And with what I do, I get so many notifications. I had to turn off all notifications for bad science jokes because there's just too many. But then with my work stuff and just everything, it's too much. I actually just went on vacation the other day, a couple weeks ago, to Chicago, and I made it my mission. I'm not going to check my phone unless it's like an emergency. But then every restaurant in Chicago, they have the QR codes for the menus.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, this ruins my entire
down the drain.
vacation. It really did, because then I saw the notifications. Oh, somebody wrote me. I have to write them back. And I have to admit, like, since I moved a lot growing up and everything, my friends are very few and far between. And so, I mean, it's not like I'm texting just people for the heck of texting people. It's just literally working all the time. My boyfriend asked me, he's like, you're not really working every time you're on your phone. And I'm like, yes, I can't even, that's the thing with being like an actual, like, working in social media, I can't really enjoy social media the way I used to.
Mm.
Because everything I do goes back to either my brand, Bad Science Jokes, or one of my businesses. And so I can't enjoy it the way most people do. And it's kind of hard some days, because how am I supposed to view it as a customer when I can't be that customer, if that makes sense? So I don't know. It's just, I don't want to know how much time I spend online. It is just, it scares me. It scares me so much. So no, I don't know.
And it is the same for every one of us here too. I mean, especially since the lockdown has started, it has increased
Yeah.
drastically. I mean, like
Oh
half
yeah.
of the day we are just
It's
because
hard to stay off
it
from
is
Instagram.
also compulsion because we have all our lectures online. That is around
Mhm.
like 4 to 5 hours a day or something like that. And after that, we have to do our assignments and all that thing. So it is like inevitable that we'll have a huge screen time. And I mean, that is fine right now. It is okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to know about it. We just know that there is a lot.
Yeah, it was actually reassuring to hear you say that. You don't want to know your screen time. I can do the same thing
It's
now.
and it honestly, like you said, it's getting worse, your screen time every day. What I just suggest to everyone, it's good for your eyes, it's good for you to just get away for a couple of minutes. If you have even just anywhere you can go, I know lockdown is going on, so I don't know how heavily that is mandated, but if you can even just step outside and just look at the clouds for a few minutes, mentally it will help you. I completely believe that there is a mental health
Mm.
relation to social media. There is a belief of what's happening versus what's actually happening. And you're going to compare yourself to other people. You're going to compare yourself to your friend. It's like, oh, well, my friend out of the country, they're going on vacation, or this friend just got engaged, things like that. And it's going to hurt you mentally. Always take a few minutes if you can. Please, everybody, seriously, hear me out on this one. Take a couple minutes and just do something else. Read a book, do something for yourself. It will definitely, you'll feel it later. Especially with eye strain, but that's a whole different thing. But just give yourself a few minutes. So that's all I can say about that.
So I had one question that is not aimed at me because I mean I don't have a social media presence, kind of. But there are some meme pages, some people who are influencers in our college and others, those who are listening. So what goals should we set for our social media accounts? Like what can we do to make it more engaging or more interesting or appealing to people in general? Like it depends on the content that we put out, obviously, but in general, if there are some tips that you can share with us, I mean, that would be nice.
Yeah, I first thing I would suggest to do, and this is actually what I do when I take on a new client for social media. It doesn't matter what the business is, you need to look into your core demographic, who you
Mm.
have and who you're looking for. So when I'm looking at Bad Science Jokes, my usual age group in my mind that I'm going after is like 18 to maybe 25.
Yes.
But well, yeah, but then I see the results and I'm like, okay, some days it's skewing a lot lower, which is really surprising to me. Some days it's skewing into like the 30s. And so I'm like, okay, this is actually where my audience is. You check what days your people are going to be active. All of that stuff can be found in the insights tabs of Instagram and Facebook, and even in Twitter. And I'm pretty sure with TikTok as well. But oh yeah, you guys don't have that, so never mind. But anyway, things, you really need to know what you're going after and how to go after the people you already have.
Mm.
So if your audience is going to skew much higher, or you want it to skew higher, you need to get in the mindset of somebody who is in that age range. So yeah, and so like or if you're looking to target more women, if you're maybe your page is skewing more male, you want to get more women, you're going to need to find ways, new hashtags, things that women are going after more often. And it's going to take some research. People don't realize how much work really goes into a meme page or being an influencer,
Mm.
things like that. I don't consider myself an influencer, but I'm kind of in that same grouping, I guess. But there is a lot of work that you really need to do, and you really need to study how your people respond. Take notes on which posts are doing the best. That's something I look into on a regular basis. And I'm like, okay, well, what do these top 3 posts have in common
Mm.
with in general. I'm like, how can I post more of that? What did I do differently here? Always leave open-ended questions in your captions if possible. Make sure it relates to the post. I see people sometimes just saying, "What are you doing today?" And it's like, okay, nobody's gonna respond to that. You need to say like, I don't actually, I can't really put an
something that
example.
is thought provoking or something like that, which is kind
Yeah,
of funny and also thought provoking. Yeah,
yeah, like or even sometimes just a caption that makes
silly.
no sense. Or yeah, I gotta say, this is a little bit inappropriate, but I posted a meme a couple of days ago about a giraffe and how his neck should, with evolution, should
Yes,
get bigger and
I
bigger.
remember.
I saw
And
that. Yeah.
my caption, I hate to even say this, I'm very prude to myself, like just like, oh, but I said, are you a giraffe or are you just really happy to see me? And the top comment just said, how cursed is that caption? And I pinned it. I laughed so hard. But it got people talking because it was that awkward of a caption. And things like that. Sometimes if your audience is going to respond in a certain way, you'll start to understand that, hey, my audience will like this, my audience won't like this. And it takes a lot of A/B testing, sometimes A, B, C, and D testing, but you have to go through those failures to get to a place where you start to know your audience. I've been doing bad science jokes now since 2012, so maybe no, I'm sorry, early 2013. It was like January. So I mean, it's been a while that I've been doing this, so I can say this is something they like, this is something they won't like. And even then, it still will change as time goes on, as my audience grows or as new people come in. So, you really just have to research all of the analytic properties that you have available to you.
So we have one question from, like, we are done with our questions, I think. Prakriti, do you have any other questions?
No, I
Then we
think we're
can.
done. I mean, let's move on to the audience questions. There are a few.
Yeah. So I can see the last one is quite good. I think we should ask this. Is LinkedIn a good platform for meme advertising?
Um, Actually, I believe so. I've recently started getting into LinkedIn as more of a business
Hmm.
side. And yes, there are some very good ways to go about it. I would definitely suggest making sure it is very appropriate for a wide audience. And also, secondly, it just depends on if you're going to be on a personal page or if you're on a company page. The audience of LinkedIn is going to be older. It does skew
Hmm.
older, and it skews to more business types. So
More
make
professional
sure,
or something.
yeah, make sure just make sure it hits the correct audience. You're not going to have the same kind of meme you'd post on Instagram on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Also just take advantage of the hashtags. People really like hashtags on LinkedIn. I hope that answers your question.
That is everywhere, I think. I mean, people like it everywhere. The hashtags, I mean, I don't get it though.
Well,
Facebook
Facebook
probably.
doesn't respond. Yeah, Facebook doesn't respond to hashtags as well as you
Instagram
would
has, I
think.
know that.
Yeah, Instagram definitely.
So there are some more questions in the audience. So have you seen the PewDiePie memes that I mean, I don't know which one he's referring to, but I mean there are quite a lot. And what do you think of it? I mean, I don't know what is it aimed at.
The PewDiePie and all his work related memes. I'm not really sure about work related PewDiePie memes. The ones I'm more familiar with are like the one with the background and he has like this is news or this is
Haha, yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the work related
Mhm,
memes.
yeah.
But yeah, I really can't answer that one. I'm not familiar. I'm sorry.
And there's one more, like, can one grow a social media organically for a startup like a restaurant business or something like that?
Yes, that was my main area of expertise. I've worked for many restaurants. The thing is, here's a couple of quick tips for restaurants on social media. One, pictures of your food are always going to be great. I don't care how silly it feels to take pictures of your food. I actually just went into a restaurant here locally the other day, and I am walking around the entire restaurant with a plate of cheesecake, and I'm just trying to find the perfect wall and the perfect lighting for this piece of cheesecake because it looked beautiful. But definitely take good pictures of the food. Second, use local hashtags.
Hmm.
People are always going to want to say insta food and looks good, yummy. No, you're going to want to say Mumbai, or whatever like a suburb is for you. Things like that. Very local and as honestly as in depth as possible. So like here, I live in a little town called the Quad Cities. I live in Davenport, but the suburb is the Quad Cities. So I'll use Davenport, I'll use Quad Cities, Quad City Restaurant Week, Quad City things to do, things like that. Even what I always suggest with a restaurant business, when you're looking up a hashtag to use, see how many people are regularly using this hashtag and find the one that has about 100 to 1,000 people actually using it. The reason is you don't want one that has 15,000, especially, well, okay, I'm sorry, that's wrong for Mumbai. So I'm using like local results. So you don't want somebody who has 1 million views. You want to find something more localized. It's
Specific.
very, very specific. So if you're doing American food, you want to say Mumbai American food, or Mumbai or American food Mumbai. As many ways as you can phrase it, but very, very localized. Also, definitely post regularly. A lot of restaurants don't. And by regularly, you only need to probably post 3 times a week. And a lot of businesses will overdo it. You don't need to post like that. You don't need to post every single day. Share specials. Specials, people love specials and deals and stuff like that. And a giveaway is a great way to start a following, by just saying, here's a $25-$50 gift card, or however, I don't know what the exchange rate is on that, but whatever whatever would work for your restaurant, or give away a free appetizer, things like that, to bring people into the store and to gain your following online. That's the best way to do it.
So, Prakriti, shall we do the next section? And this is the final
Yeah.
section, I think.
Yes, I think, yeah, we can go for it.
You will go for it, not me.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we had a quick rapid fire, just 5 questions. All right. So have you ever tried Indian food? If yes, what's your favorite?
Yes, lamb curry. It was amazing. It was so hot that I was just crying, but I had to keep eating it because it was so good. And oh my gosh. Anyway, I have been dying to get some lately. We were just talking the other day, me and my boyfriend were talking about getting Indian food, and I was like, oh, I'm talking to India next week, whole thing. But anyway, lamb curry. Yes.
Okay. Current favorite meme template format? Meme.
The stonks ones, I gotta say. Yeah.
Current favorite song?
Ooh, actually, it's a little bit older, but "Wish I Knew You" by the Revivalists, I think it is. It's like "Wish I Knew You When I Was Young." I don't know. It's good. I like it.
Okay. All right. Physics, chemistry, maths, or biology?
Your favorite subject?
Chemistry, probably. I'd have to say chemistry.
We are
Yeah.
all
Great. That makes us really happy. Okay. Something on your bucket list you want to cross off as soon as possible?
Ooh, I want to go to Tahiti, but with Corona and everything. I've always wanted to take a cruise, especially like a world cruise, like one of those like 35-day ones. But I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But I'm still kind of like wishing and hoping it'll happen.
Yeah.
I was having a follow-up question to that, but you answered.
But yeah, you answered it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was going to ask where would you first like to visit after the COVID situation ends, but I mean, you answered.
Well, actually, that's a different kind of answer. I would like to go to Las Vegas, Nevada, where I grew up. Just I want to go back and see how things have changed. That's a place that's been hit really hard. Like because of the economy is so tourist driven. And so a lot of my old favorite restaurants have closed, and I kind of want to just see what's different now. Yeah.
So I think we are done with the interview, Akshay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I thank you so much for having me. I have had so much fun, and I won't lie to you. I've been fangirling this whole time since I was messaged, and I've just been like, I'm gonna get to talk in India. This is so cool. And so you have no idea how much
that is
this
exactly
has
how
meant to
we were
me.
feeling.
Exactly.
Oh my god, can't believe this is happening.
And we were not at all sure that if you were going to even read our message. And
Yeah.
so Preeta had messaged you initially, and then after like 5 days, and she's telling me that there's no response. I'm like, okay, she might have missed it somewhere because she gets so many messages. And then suddenly, someday you replied, and you are like, you were not seeing any notifications and all that. So we were shocked. We were shocked that
I
how did we get a reply even? We were
I
poor, but we got a
I
reply.
don't I don't check my personal messages very often on my personal Instagram. And I do check Bad Science Jokes messages. If you message Bad Science Jokes, I have read it. I definitely check messages regularly. I just don't always respond. So I never saw it on Bad Science Jokes, but on my personal, on the Melissa Miller, I did see it, but it was already like a week after. And I was like, oh no, I probably missed it. I don't get to do it. And I was disappointed. And no, I'm so glad though that this was able to happen. I love I love this kind of thing. I love being able to talk to people who really enjoy what I do. My whole thing, especially since what happened to me in the past, I'm so glad I'm able to touch people in a way that even when the world is kind of crappy, you know, as it is, I some people get to smile, you know, and maybe it might be your only smile of the day, and that means a lot to me. That's why I keep doing it. I mean, I don't make a lot of money on Bad Science Jokes, maybe a couple t-shirt sales. I really don't, you know, people always ask me that, but if I'm making people happy and they comment that this is their favorite meme page or something, that's why I keep doing it. So I'm very grateful you guys called.
Akshay, on the comments.
Oh, I didn't see any. And I'm getting responsible. The Stogs. Yes. Oh man. I seriously, I speak like that. I actually will add, yeah, I'll add random like N's and M's into my like conversations now.
Thank
And
you,
people,
Melissa, for being here. We are very honored to have you here.
What?
Okay.
thank you. Sorry. I didn't see who that was, but thank you very much for
It
having
was
me.
Akshay, but I think there was some issue in his internet, so he was saying that before, and then this happened. I think.
Oh, it's okay. I was just making a crack about I do talk in the Stonks meme regularly at home, and it bothers people around, but I'm hoping the baby doesn't pick up on it. That's all.
Ma'am, and also one more thing, since it is our fest, and now I think today it is coming to an end. So we have a slogan, and it is pretty basic. It is Jai Manzar, JaiManzar, Jai Manzar. So can you just say it?
Jay, I'm sorry, one more time. Can you
Jai, Jai
Jay
Manzar.
Jay Manza?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jay Manza.
that's nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Have a great rest of your day, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we wish that you rest because this is very early in
Yeah.
the morning for you.
Yes. Please take a nap.
I'm too excited. I'll probably take a nap later, but I'm up now. I'm ready to go. You guys have a great rest of your night. Good luck, Jay Monza.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye
so much,
bye.
ma'am.